Remember when Frieren finished off her clone with what Fern recognized as not magic? Well, let's just say Frieren has more hidden knowledge and power than we think that can help us understand how she was saved. The great mage Serie, the feet goddess's life, from being yeeted by a shadow warrior that wants to remove all magic from the world, including humans and demons, and rewrite the laws of the world in the time of the myth, returning it to how it once were. It's another week of the Frieren Manga hiatus in the books, and Yamada Kanehito reveals another updated script to Serie's potential demise that says, if you hit the like button, you might just survive.
合格だ.
The entire ethos of the Frieren story is about self-discovery and unlocking new possibilities in the world. Through this self-discovery is a legacy being built that is meant to inspire for however long it is possible to preserve humanity's way forward. In this video, we will look to explore many of Frieren's hidden magical secrets throughout the story and the character herself, how it might ultimately lead to Frieren saving her philosophical counterpart of gatekeeping magic from humanity, and Serie being yeeted. Frieren's journey after defeating the Demon King was traveling around the Central Lands for about 100 years to gather magic. It all started with a shadow dragon's horn, needed for summoning. This is a part of Frieren's storytelling where it leaves things kind of vague, because that's the overarching theme of life. It's mysterious and filled with discovery. I would not be surprised that this shadow dragon horn that Frieren found at the Demon King's castle that emits somewhat an evil aura comes full circle with something extremely important. She does say she needs it for summoning. The fact that she needs it for summoning implies something more special or powerful compared to what she can accomplish right now. A lot of the Frieren story is about not fully grasping how something works, but making it work. Besides the goddess of creation, not seen since the mythical times where priest magic is derived from, and where many of the religious backbone of the story stems from. Another interesting character is a heroic mage from mythical times, Avic the Sage, Avic meaning eternal in German, shown here on the Unified Empire mural in the ruins during the first class mage exam. And we know right now in the Foundation Festival arc that the Empire is slowly unlocking more and more magic of the goddess. When Hyther tricked Frieren into deciphering the Avic the Sage grimoire for resurrection and immortality spells for 5 years to train Fern, she never actually mentioned what was in the book after deciphering it. Although it looks like Frieren was about to tell Hyther that the grimoire was probably fake or not what he was looking for, Hyther talking about it makes it seem like it was still a legit grimoire from Avic the Sage. Genau and Fausch even talked about him in the Spiegel-watered mirror demon being a demon from mythic times, like Himmel the hero and his legend in various tales and books. Avic the Sage has its own heroic tales. So a lot of these various grimoires that Frieren comes across, and especially from Avic the Sage, we can assume that Frieren understands more about magic than what she's shown so far in the story. There was also the time where Avic the Sage created the stone bracelet of servitude that makes the wearer obey their commands, like when it was placed on Mach, a 7-sage demon. This is way more significant than we think when we start tying in that it's rare to read a demon's mind, because the biology between demons and humans are significantly different, thus unable to empathize with them. This is why even though the bracelet technically worked on Mach, he doesn't have the concept of malice, guilt, and empathy. So it didn't work in the way intended. Even rare for hypnosis users, Edo was able to read and pass along those memories that she took from Mach to Denken, and then eventually to Frieren, who analyzed Mach's 100 years of memories to undo the golds. So the stone bracelet of servitude is a hypnosis spell, meaning Avic the Sage could hypnotize demons. Where I'm basically leading you guys to is there is a level of understanding between human magic, human brains, and demon magic and demon brains. While they don't fully understand each other, there is a somewhat foundational way that they can handle each other and understand how each other's magic and their way of thinking can work, without fully realizing how it works. There's a lot being explored between humans and demons and whether or not they could understand each other. That is the entire arc of Mach, with Solitaire believing it not to be possible, and Frieren pointing out that Mach basically has to make humanity go extinct before even realizing if he can understand human emotions or not. Even Himo the hero during the flashback when Frieren was jailed recognized that demons couldn't understand humans. While a constant motif in Frieren is making the impossible possible, how long is it gonna take to make that impossibility a possibility for someone like Mach to understand? Hey, after I destroyed all the humans, now I might finally understand how they think in this emotion. Now, this takes me to Frieren analyzing Mach's memories. This is a massive deal because it's a demon's memories and a demon's understanding of how magic works. When he fought Serie, Serie said that to him, Diagold is irreversible because he can't comprehend how humanity thinks. But as we found out when Frieren analyzed his memories, he was able to fill in the gaps to undo Diagold's. Beyond the plot stuff with the hero of the South, Solitaire, and other relationships Mach has with the Demon King, Grossum, and other various important encounters, right now we'll focus on the magic component because that seems to be a major proponent of how magic can advance between demon magic, humanity's magic, and the magic of the goddess. Humans can create magic with their ability to visualize, empathize, and understand on a level demons cannot. On the other hand, demons are generally born to specialize in one spell, like what Solitaire said with greater demons. Those are very unique abilities specialized for greater demons that no one else should be able to comprehend. From what we can tell in the story, characters that understand a combination of both demon and human magic makes them more dangerous, like Solitaire, and how she was able to teach Mach human magic, who was able to teach it to Denkin. How was Solitaire able to study humans and use their magic, or at least undo it? Well, it seems like she can copy or understand magic that already exists, rather than come up with it or imagine it herself. That is why humanity's magic, learning to use Zoltrak as a foundation yeeting spell and being able to progress so much and so fast that even Serie warns Frieren in the flashback that humanity will soon pass them in about 1,000 years. This is roughly where we are at in the story. Humanity's progress and imagination forces demons to progress in their magical capabilities because it is everywhere. Even Frieren recognizes that her going to the past and using magic from the future, it will unlock the demon army's magical prowess and advance their magic further if they were able to witness such power and figure out how it works, like how Solitaire has been doing all this time studying humans. Humans' progress are like a cheat code for the demons, especially if they are a lot more like Solitaire. So going back to Frieren analyzing Mach's memories, the reason why it's so important and such a big clue as to what can happen in the Foundation Festival arc and beyond is because, like what Solitaire said about humans being able to deal with things without fully grasping how it works, and how Solitaire was able to break down the Continental Magic Association barrier that was created with, let me check, Southern Lands Protective Magic Circle of the Com Clan, who specialize in sealing demons. The Andere style barrier created by the principles of irreversibility, and Imperial magic that was used for the defense of the Unified Empire, aka the Great Barrier of Isolation. Solitaire was able to consume the current understanding of all of that magic, spawned from various backgrounds of human magic, along with her own knowledge that only comes with being a demon, and especially a greater demon. We should assume that Frieren is like the opposite side of the coin, of humanity's side, that now has some level of understanding of how demon magic works, except what Edo said here about guessing what demons are thinking but can never empathize with them. Remember, the foundation on the killing magic is based on Qual, the elder sage of corruption. So there is already a cross-reference basic understanding between how humanity and demon magic works, at least in the terms of yeeting. Mach said it himself that Qual's magic is something special, while Gluck was like, ain't Zoltrak just some basic magic at this point? On a deeper philosophical level, this is almost like teaching us that to discover something and create something new in the world, you don't have to fully understand how it works, but the fact that it does work. At the risk of making myself look really stupid right now, but I think that's like quantum mechanics, right? They understand how certain things work, but they don't understand why it works. Yubel is the genius example of this, noted by Sense. She can imagine something and intuitively make it happen without barriers that the average mage wouldn't be able to, like Yeeting fools! Beyond the one thing she empathized with Weirbull to copy his Sorganel constriction spell, she finally hit a mental obstacle in Routine Shield. So we're about to witness how the mechanics of the Frieren world and the themes that help build this lore and how it works firsthand with Yubel. I feel like it's safe to assume while Frieren has been super lazy given her perception of time is super warped, she heeded Serie's warning of humanity's progression and continued advancing her own magical capabilities, evidenced by literally how strong she was when she traveled to the past during the Goddess Monument arc. That was about 84 years in the past from the Foundation Festival arc. From the current arc's perspective in the Foundation Festival arc as of chapter 147, this is a rather speculative look into Frieren's true capabilities and someone that is primed to break the Great Mage Serie, Ashi no Megami, her various clairvoyant prophetic dreams where she gets yeeted. By making an impossible seem possible that Frieren has done once before with the help of Himo the Hero, making her believe that she can break Bulls the Immortal's impossible barrier, she has many times went beyond Serie's imagination and expectation. With as many characters as possible, Serie has brought along all the mages that has broken her expectations, including Sense, consistently bringing along Frieren's entire party. That includes Fern Stark and later Zine, who wasn't even in the realm of contributing during that time. That acknowledgement of Sense understanding that she needs more help by bringing in Frieren, that totally helps tip the scale. While Serie never mentions who would be involved when she ultimately gets assassinated, Frieren holds many hidden abilities and knowledge given how many different magical items and grimoires that she has come across that we have yet to fully grasp her true vast knowledge. The Great Mage Serie may be called the Living Grimoire, but Frieren has likely discovered and imagined a world beyond the present day knowledge of magic. There was nothing more vague than what Frieren's mirror copy showed when Frieren and Fern took on her clone and took it down. Frieren clearly showed something that was only shown because of Fern and because of the Demon King. She seemed to go full power, but all of her defenses went down, giving Frieren the opening she needed to take herself down, as that was her one big flaw that was shown in that arc. When it comes to Frieren's natural abilities, she was the strongest of her village and even took down a demon general. However, she wasn't able to save anyone. Like Fern, Frieren already had a hunch that Flamme was a lot more powerful than she was letting on, hiding her mana level. Hiding her true mana is not only about hiding how strong she is, it's a philosophy of deception, displayed like during the first class mage exam against her clone. Not only is her mana level hidden, it's her hidden knowledge and hidden abilities that she keeps to herself. Even Fern recognized Frieren's clone using something that is not magic, but seemingly contradicts that statement by saying it is the apex of magic that Frieren hasn't shown since 80 years prior into being cornered, who we assume is the Demon King. This is interesting because this is even before Frieren even analyzed Monk's memories, which is important because humans can't comprehend greater demon magic. Remember, we don't know exactly how the Demon King was defeated, but Frieren likely unleashed everything she had in her hidden arsenal during that time. It was literally her life's purpose to do so that Flamme had given her, and it's what ties herself to Fern in that she enjoyed magic, but was trained to literally use it for the purpose of fighting, potentially losing some of that love that is pointed towards revenge killing and general warfare. When in reality, magic can do a lot more than just be used to yeet people. Very early on, Frieren talked about finding Flamme's old grimoires and how many were fake until she finds out that Flamme discovered a way to talk to the dead and where souls gather in the northernmost land. That is Frieren's entire journey aside from finding Himo's spirit in Oriel, which is their heaven, or their supposed heaven. Discovering random grimoires and magical items is a discovery into finding something new and interesting in the world. For plot's sake, and for the 50 years of her traversing across the Central Lands, discovering these different kinds of magic, it's quite possible she came across something much more useful that advances her own understanding of magic. Because clearly, before she couldn't fly, but now she can. Before she couldn't really use Zoltrak, but now she can. So we have to think that she can use this newfound knowledge to help save Serie. This is why I started off with the Shadow Dragon Horn that emits a weird evil aura. We don't know exactly what it is, but Frieren knows it helps her summon something. Magical items in Frieren tend to be random and have various uses, no matter how inappropriate or unuseful it may seem. Who knows, maybe Serie's prophetic dreams were mixed with that nightmare magical item. Out of all the magical items we've come across the story, many fans have pointed to the magic nullifying crystal as a way to absorb mana from other powerful mages. At the same time, the story clearly builds in a barrier that it isn't easy for humans to just mine it and just mass produce it. I mean, if they could just steal all this magic absorbing mana crystal things, you would think that they would just use that to fight demons because that's what demons fight with. This is the kind of deep lore and context that shows Frieren's deep knowledge and her experience with multiple contextless magical items that can prove useful in the future. It also just implies that she's capable of much more, like her fight against Solitaire. Although it appeared that Frieren was struggling against this greater demon, she was actually just analyzing the Golden Land the entire time during her fight, and eventually undid the golds for the entire landmass around the fortress city of Weiss that helped end Solitaire, with her own belief that Fern was still alive to deliver a fatal blow from very, very, very far away. Remember, we've only seen Frieren actually recognize she's been backed against a true corner before, and that time was against her clone. Ultimately, Serie's life is set up for Frieren to eventually save it some way, somehow, because if there was anyone that broke past Serie's imagination and expectation, it was Flamme, and now it will be her legacy in Frieren that will help preserve it. In the end, I think what Frieren's clone showed with what Fern said, her analyzing Mock's memories, and what the story hasn't shown yet in her fight against the Demon King, it leads me to believe that she's more than capable enough to prevent Serie's assassination. Along with the fact there's all these other characters that supposedly went beyond her imagination as well. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, if Frieren will be able to save Serie. Was there any other hidden powers or abilities that you guys think that Frieren has that we didn't talk about in this video? I would love to know in the comments below. Yeah, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.